Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance yesterday officially began the process of collecting signatures to remove William Ruto out of office.
Information that we have is that the protests were successful countrywide. In most of major towns, and almost most of the counties, there were people who turned up and expressed their displeasure at the way things are being done in our country. Therefore, we are very grateful to them, and we want them to stay tuned, because this is just but a beginning of a long struggle which will end up, obviously, in victory for the people of our country. Secondly, we have also said that the people of Kenya have a right to picket, to demonstrate, to petition. And that is what we are doing right now. We've said also that this is a right enshrined in our Constitution. The Constitution also says at Article 1 that the sovereignty in the Republic of Kenya is vested in the people of Kenya. And the people can either exercise it directly or through their elected representatives. Today we have launched the movement to collect signatures from Kenyans so that they can say that they are withdrawing their delegation of powers to the elected leaders and taking it to themselves. It is the first in the history. We know that the authors of our Constitution did not put that particular article in vain. And we are going to invoke that article to delegitimize this regime. We will collect signatures from Kenyans, and I've said we will also form an electoral commission, and we will carry out a referendum to delegitimize this regime.
Raila Odinga actually launched the process in Nairobi. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was in Machakos. Martha Karua launched the collection of signatures in her own county of Kirinyaga. And what shocked me was the collection of signature in Naivasha. But what's the strategy behind the collection of the signatures? That is the question which most Kenyans are currently asking. So in this video, I want us to look at the strategy behind Azimio's move to collect signatures to remove William Ruto out of office. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, let us begin. Do you think Raila Odinga and Azimio brigades can remove William Ruto from office by collecting signatures from Kenyans? Because already Kenyans are asking several questions. The first question Kenyans are asking is, where do they take the signatures to? Like, after collecting the signatures, according to Raila Odinga, they intend to collect 10 million signatures. According to the Constitution of Kenya, as long as you can raise 1 million signatures, then you can initiate the process of a referendum. The question is, where do they take the signatures after they've collected it? That's the first question Kenyans are asking. Because we all know that Azimio believes that the IBC did a shoddy work during the last election. So that's number one. The second question Kenyans are asking is who is going to verify the signatures? Because the Supreme Court made a ruling that IBC is actually the commission. And in the absence of the commission, like right now, who is going to verify the signatures? Because I remember when you were doing Okwa Kenya, I told you I was a very big man at Okwa Kenya Secretariat. During that time, the signatures were actually received by Wafula Chebukati. And you all know how it ended up, how the intelligence messed up our collection. The third question which Kenyans are asking is who is going to conduct the referendum? Because if you listen to Raila Odinga today, he was also very clear on one thing, that they are going to form their own IBC. So is it possible that Raila Odinga, while the IBC process, recruitment process is ongoing, because I think the panel which William Ruto formed has already initiated the process, assuming they'll go ahead and announce their new commission, then Raila Odinga probably will also appoint his new commissioners, and then he will hand the signatures to that commission. That's the question. Who is going to conduct the referendum? And will that commission appointed by Raila Odinga conduct the referendum? And the other question, which is also very important, according to the Constitution of Kenya, can you remove the president from office through a referendum? Because one thing I know, the president can actually be impeached in parliament. Maybe I need to do a bit of research on whether you can actually remove a sitting president through a referendum. But what is the strategy behind this move of collecting signatures to remove William Ruto out of office? For me, the strategy is simple. Number one, I tend to think that Azimio are actually keen on engaging the number of people who are ready for a referendum. If they'll be able to get the right numbers, the numbers they need within a short time, then probably they'll be sure that a referendum would yield something. And therefore, they're likely to pursue a referendum route. And that referendum route, in my view, could be, number one, to invalidate the finance bill, because that's something which Kenyans are really, you can actually change the constitution. The finance bill is now law, and you can only do it, you can invalidate it through a referendum. They can identify as, because they have bright lawyers, those lawyers can identify a way by which it can be subjected to referendum. They can also subject the issue of IBC to referendum, and also maybe the structure of governance. So in my view, I tend to think that they just want to gauge the number of people who are ready for a referendum. If the numbers are promising, then they can pursue that route. Number two, I also tend to think that the idea, which is the main idea behind this collection of signature, is that Azimio wants to gauge the mood in William Ruto's strongholds. Those who voted for Ruto in the mountain, for example, are they still willing to stick with him? Or are they willing to sign this? Are they willing to sign their signatures, append their signatures to remove William Ruto out of office? Because if they'll be able, like for example, if the mountain will easily append their signatures, what do you think will be the conclusion? The conclusion will be that probably the mountain is now tied with Ruto. Like I'm sure they'll use their team to figure out that, okay, in Kirinyaga, like I saw Martha Karua, let's take, for example, the case of Naivasha. Today, people were collecting signature just on the street. And we were actually appending their signatures. Is it possible that these guys were in Azimio's stronghold? Or is it that the people who are appending their signatures there, because Naivasha was predominantly Kenya Kwanza, Is it possible that those people are now tired with this government to an extent that they want to remove it from office? So in my view, it's a strategy to gauge the perceived stronghold. Number 3, in my view, and this is something which they are trying to do, is a vote of no confidence on William Ruto. You know, if Azimio, for example, will be able to gather, let's say 8 million signatures, that will be a big blow for William Ruto. Because, you know, there's a chance that majority of Kenyans will not append their signatures because maybe the accessibility and other factors. But if they can actually get a good number to sign to remove William Ruto out of office, my friend, let me assure you, that's going to be a huge vote of no confidence in William Ruto's government. And what will they do with that? It means now they can tell Ruto, oh, you don't have people, you know, wait for election to come, you stall, things like those. And lastly, I tend to think that Azimio are keen on creating the momentum for 2027. And you know for sure that the momentum for 2027, if it can pick up, I'm certain it can be sustained. Because already the cost of living is just so high for Kenyans. Majority of Kenyans can no longer put food on the table. That's one thing for a fact. Number 2, William Ruto's policies are not adding up to Kenyans. William Ruto made promises which he's not going to meet. He promised jobs. He's not going to meet those jobs. The other day, William Ruto was in Comoros and he was promising the residents there scholarship, something which even Kenyans here are just yearning for. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you, guys. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.
Hello. Kwanza. Hello. Mpaka ijulikane sisi ni wangapi. Tunaelewa vizuri. Ndio sababu tunaanza harakati ya kuweka sahihi ya kuonyesha kwamba tumeichukua hiyo mamlaka chini yetu. Ijulikane Azimio iko na watu ngapi. Tunaelewa vizuri. Mimi mwenyewe Raila Odinga nitaanza leo hapa Habari kuweka sahihi, na nyinyi nyote mtapata yule makaratasi, mtaweka na sahihi zenu, sawa sawa.